Tennessee Senator and member of the Senate Finance Committee, Marsha Blackburn. Senator, great to see you this weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Your reaction to all of this ahead of the debate on Thursday, we're expecting all of these issues will be front and center.
Maria, the American consumer knows that they are worse off now than they were under Donald Trump. They're looking at what they're paying when they fill up the tank, when they go to the grocery store. They're looking at their heating bill. The rent is going up. And they're saying, I can't afford this. We hear it every day from Tennesseans. They know that the first thing that needs to happen is government spending that is out of control needs to be dealt with. When you've got an administration who keeps running the printing presses and they're overspent, think about that. They are overspent by $1.92 trillion. Then the American consumer is saying, hey, wait a minute, something's got to give. We're tired of this. It is going to help Donald Trump win this election in November.
Well, your colleague, Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin, along with 68 other Democrat lawmakers, sent a letter to Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas this week. They're pushing to create a new pathway for Palestinian refugees to more easily enter this country. All of this on top of the 10 million illegals already in the country on Biden's watch. Your reaction?
What we need to do is make certain that we know who's coming in this country and the reason they're coming in. And people will tell you they do not know if someone is telling them the truth about who they are and where they're from. And of course, as we hear about the migrant crimes that are coming up and the lack of vetting and these individuals that came in contact with asylum officers, with Border Patrol, and now they're committing the crimes in the country. This is heartbreaking, and the American people are saying this has to be dealt with. Security moms are out in full force and saying, we want to know who is coming into the country and why they're here.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're now learning that more than 1,500 migrants from Tajikistan are here, a country known as a hotbed of ISIS terrorists. They've been flocking across the southern border for the past 3.5 years. So they're here. More experts are issuing warnings as a result of an imminent terrorist attack on U.S. soil. How do you see it?
Maria, we're very concerned about this. When you have the 10 million that we know of, and then, of course, you've got the known and unknown gotaways, and not knowing who is here, this is very troubling to the American people. When the FBI director says he sees red lights flashing everywhere he looks when it comes to the issue of terrorism and terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. I mean,
we've heard stories this week where the Border Patrol confirmed that the mother of 5, Rachel Morin, was killed by an illegal who entered the country during the last couple of years. A 13-year-old raped by an illegal who entered the country in the last 3 years, a gotaway. I mean, all of these stories are happening, and we're actually now seeing the impact of all of these unknown questions coming over the border.
Indeed, we are. And I talked with Sheriff Gaylor from Hartford County. That is a community considered to be a very safe community. And they have had 2 individuals murdered now by illegal aliens in this country. They had come into contact with law enforcement. They had not been deported. And now they are carrying out these crimes. Maria, people they're fearful of what is going on in their community, in their neighborhoods that they may not know about, and worried about these illegal aliens that are coming in that are not being apprehended, or if they're apprehended by local law enforcement, then ICE is not deporting them. Yeah. This is why every town's a border, every state's a border state.
Yeah, and what can you do about it as an elected official, Senator? When is this going to end?
One of the things we know is that the border was most secure under President Donald Trump, and Biden's border policy is an open border. I have legislation, the CLEAR Act, that would require the deportation of criminal illegal aliens. We are working overtime trying to build bipartisan support for them because, Maria, this would require, for these illegal aliens, when they've committed a crime, to be deported, to be barred from ever entering the country. This is what people are wanting to see.
Absolutely.
And after Donald Trump goes back to the White House in January, build that wall, make certain there's better technology at the border, and then make certain these criminal illegal aliens, once they're apprehended at the local level for some type of crime commission, then they are deported and barred from ever coming back in the country.
Well, we'll be watching this. Of course, people are scared, Senator. Great to have you this weekend. Thanks very much for your leadership on the subject. Senator Marsha Blackburn.